Welcome to this ConedaKOR tutorial. In this video, we show you how to install ConedaKOR on a Debian 11 bullseye. This tutorial is intended for system administrators who have a basic understanding of Linux and of hosting web applications. You will also need root access to the server. While the software will likely run on other Linux distributions, Debian is the platform we regularly test on. It ships with a recent enough Ruby version, has a release cycle of about 2 years, and it is freely available including its documentation. That makes it a good choice for us. As you can see, we are downloading Debian and installing it in a VirtualBox virtual machine. If you'd like to follow along, make sure the machine has at least 4 GB RAM and 2 CPUs. Also add port forwardings as we did, so that you can access the virtual machine via SSH and HTTP. You can of course use any other Debian server provided by your data center or a commercial public cloud service such as Hetzner, Vultr or Amazon. We will fast forward the installation process. Here, we are booting our new VM, and after logging in, we enable SSH access for root. After logging into the server as root via SSH, we will install some dependencies with Debian's package manager apt. We need Ruby and its development headers to run ConedaKOR and to compile Ruby extensions. We install Apache and the passenger module to be able to run RAC applications without additional process management. Passenger works in a similar way as the fastCGI module in this regard. We also install MariaDB as well as the client utility and libraries. To run Elasticsearch, we install a Java runtime environment. ConedaKOR uses FFmpeg and ImageMagick to extract stills from videos and to generate image thumbnails. We then add a couple of convenient tools like pwgen and Git. The installation will likely take a while and we will fast forward the process. Once it finishes, we use the MariaDB console to create a new user core with password core and grant access to the database core. If you are following along, make sure to choose access credentials matching your security requirements. We then proceed to configure Apache by enabling the passenger module, disabling the default page and adding our own virtual host section. We create that in a file in the Sites Available directory so that we can enable and disable it with the Apache enable site disable site script. Since it's the only virtual host on this port for now, the server name doesn't really matter. The key here is the document root, which makes the passenger module look for Ruby RAC application in the parent directory. Since Apache 2.4, the server will only serve content from default www directory. We therefore explicitly allow access to the directory where ConedaKOR will live. Finally, we restart Apache to arm the new configuration. We create a user called app. We will run Elasticsearch and ConedaKOR with that user. To install Elasticsearch, we go to its website and click through to the download page. Once there, we select the Elasticsearch version that is compatible with the ConedaKOR version we are installing. For ConedaKOR 4.1.0, that is Elasticsearch 5.6.16. The required version is listed in the ConedaKOR changelog on GitHub. Once we have the download link, we use wget to download the tarball on our server. After extracting it, we make a modification to the JVM options file. Essentially, the default settings allow Elasticsearch to consume up to 2 GB of RAM. 1 GB should be enough for quite some time. Please have a look at the administrator's guide for resource recommendations. We want systemd to control Elasticsearch because it can restart Elasticsearch when required and when the server is restarted. To that end, we add a service file and add suitable configuration for a simple service. Once that is done, we enable and start the new Elastic service. We can use journalctl to inspect the logs, and as you can see, it started successfully. After using su to assume the identifier of the new app user, we can proceed to download and configure ConedaKOR. We use a browser to locate the newest release on GitHub. Currently, that is 4.1.0. We copy the link and download the tarball on the server as before. We recommend a structure with a releases directory to hold a subdirectory for every new release, a shared directory to hold data that should be maintained across updates, and a symlink current to the active release. This way, future updates are easy to do. ConedaKOR is configured with environment variables. You can either set those through the Apache virtual host configuration or through a .env file. We will use the latter here. ConedaKOR ships with a sample.env file. We copy it and symlink to its correct location. With the text editor, we change the root URL to match what a browser would expect. In our case, that's the localhost, with a port forwarded to the virtual machine. The database URL needs to be changed to reflect the previously changed MariaDB user. The data directory is where ConedaKOR will store assets, downloads, and other files. Since we want to keep this data when updating in the future, we place it in the shared directory created earlier. The secret key is used to sign the session cookie. We use pwgen to generate a new one. Do not keep the default value here. ConedaKOR is written in Ruby and Ruby's libraries are called gems. We can install all required gems with the bundle command. Before, we will configure it to install these dependencies into the shared directory so that they don't interfere with gems installed by Debian's apt package manager. Additionally, we disable installation of development and test dependencies. The installation process will take a moment. We can now initialize ConedaKOR. Before we do that, we edit the .env file one more time to configure how Elasticsearch should be accessed. We then initialize the MariaDB database and create the initial Elasticsearch index. With all that done, we can open a browser and navigate to http://localhost:8080 and log into our new ConedaKOR installation with user admin and password admin. For more detailed information on the installation process, have a look at our user documentation. Thank you for watching this ConedaKOR tutorial.